And we are showtime. Hello, and thank you for joining for our 2024 Industry Live new and kicking it off. I'm that Kimberly,
And
and
I
this
will.
is
Oh,
go ahead.
I
No,
got excited. I got excited. I jumped in on you. I'm sorry. And I'm Lacey Daniels.
she is. She's bringing the energy to our live. My co-host, thank you, Lissy Daniels. We are talking about women in leadership and how did we get here. Before we do that, I just want to remind everybody that we are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and wherever you're watching from. If you have a question for either one of us, leave it in the comments. If you watch this on the replay, because it sits out on the World Wide Web forever, if you watch replay, make sure you put hashtag the word replay and the city that you watched us in. And also, if you have a question, then make sure you tag one of us because so that we see it. Otherwise, we might get missed. But without further ado, let's jump into this.
Yeah. Wow. What an amazing conversation we're going to have. I'm so excited to be here, Kimberly, and co hosting with you on this
Thank
topic of women and leadership. Woohoo.
you.
Right.
Woman, hear me roar.
Right. I think it's so amazing for women to support one another, but to really just talk about our experiences, our insights, our challenges, just to be able to hopefully inspire, encourage, or motivate someone else that's out there trying their career path into leadership, or even like with us, taking it to another notch and building our own thing and working through day in, day out of that, right? So
Yeah.
super excited about that. So I'm going to kind of start off with some questions and we're going to go back and forth. And again, if you have questions out there, please ask us. We are ready to dive in and engage with you guys. So
Yes.
how did you get started? Like what brought you here, right? That's one of the biggest questions.
Oh, how did I start doing lives? Well, so in 2005, I was the renter who got tired of looking at virtual tours, and I moved on a yearly basis. I was that lifestyle renter, and I just got tired of seeing things that weren't true or didn't see enough of what was beauty. So I started a company called Capture the Market, and we videoed the not just what was in the community, but was around the community, so you could see where and where you're going to live. So we definitely line item the word video in anybody's budget because nobody was really doing it back then when we started doing it, and we teaching once we produce the video, we teach our clients, amazingly enough, how to use it on social media because Facebook wasn't even. I mean, I always say, we were around before Facebook, was a thing, and when YouTube actually bought Google. No, sorry, Google bought YouTube. Backwards. Google bought YouTube when it was in the negative, but bought it because it had so many eyeballs. And we were teaching people how to use their video on all those different platforms because people were like, "What's this video stuff?" So,
That's
so
actually really fascinating.
so it definitely it I've always been interested in it. Marketing brain, but we sold in 2018, and I, going live just seemed like the natural. The podcast first, and podcast just means a pre-recorded audio. As and I follow a lot of Gary V's material. Everybody who knows me knows I love me some Gary V. And he said, if you have a company, you're doing anything kind of promotion, you need to be doing podcasts. During COVID, I started going live because he was teaching people how to go live. So I took some of my own courses and just read everything I could and watched all kinds of videos on how to go live. So it was just that natural progression to start going live again. Um, I just wanted to be different, and this is definitely something that not very many people are doing. It's hard to keep it up. Like, I mean, you've seen some of the back end stuff, and definitely a labor of love. But I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy,
Yeah.
learning about it, and I try to take something I try to learn something from everyone that I meet.
I think it's just another way of connecting. And I mean, I applaud you on your journey, because just to go live, I'm not even going to lie, is a little scary, right? Because, everyone out there in the world, they're looking at you. But
Well,
no.
you stand up in front of people. How did you mean you stand up in front of people and motivate people and teach them? That I feel is scarier than being on the back of a camera, where the potential is to have a lot more than a handful, but still it's to do what you do. How did you get your start?
Oh my gosh. Well, I will say I do get the nerves. It's just natural, right? I think it's
Yeah,
the energy that builds in. And I always try to read a room or just walk a room and really kind of connect with people, and gives me that energy. And I think sometimes with cameras and live, you don't know the energy out there, but you know the
yeah,
energy in a room. But
yeah,
yeah, I started, what navigated my career in speaking was my passion of just being able to motivate people, right? Being able
yeah,
to inspire off of something that I've gone through, what I have worked through, or aimed for, that can help encourage someone else. And I've been in the industry for a very long time, and I never thought I would be where I'm at today. I always thought I was navigating into, I think I told you this, was a broadcast journalist. I was going to be a reporter going live, which is all recording. Ain't that kind of funny in a sense?
yeah,
Now here, full circle, we're live. But
yeah,
no, I end up down the line in multifamily, and I just loved what I've done as far as leasing and growing in that path. And it just kind of stuck. And then at the end, 8 years ago, I got an opportunity to speak, and boy, did that just open doors. And from there, I grew, I learned, I had people that I, admired and mentored and kind of just studied, in a sense of, gosh, they're amazing speakers. I want to be
yeah,
just like them, as then the Mel Robbins and John Maxwell. So I was like, I can do this. So how do I need to get there, and how do I need to go about that? Well, I
yeah.
started doing my visions. And so, yeah, I hope to continue to grow with it and be able to inspire people. And I think that's what it is all about, is the support of womanhood, right? But at the same time as navigating, how do we get from A to Z? Because I didn't have that when I started. And so, and I know we were talking about you having those mentors and those role models.
Role models, yeah.
I'd love to hear you share that, as we can kind of talk about that and how that helped molded our way to where we're at today.
Well, my role were my parents, and and my grandfather was a man of many of little, but when he spoke, he was like, you at the end of the day, all you have is your name. You don't have anything.
Mhm.
Everything goes away. Your name, and so your handshake and your word is what you have. Your name and your word is the only thing you can take with you everywhere. And so it's super important that if you gave you word, that you stuck to it. My mom was a business, had the business acumen for sure. She definitely knew leverage her credit score, and getting, she had 3 homes that she was in real estate before Airbnb was around. So she definitely knew how to juggle all that with finances.
Wow.
And so and my dad was always, if you want to be something, practice to be perfect at it, practice to get better at it, and don't cry because somebody doesn't pick you for a team, or don't be upset because you didn't
Mhm.
win. You back and practice again to win whatever the, sports was a get player in my life, to teach me how to the resilience to come back from, we I get rejected. What about you? What who were your role models? And
No, I can honestly relate with that. It almost sounds like it's building resilience with you, right? You had to have that strength, and which kind of helped navigate. That skill sets in itself, and soft skills to kind of keep moving. I would also have to say my parents are my role models. My father, I think, was tough on me in a sense, military, right? I was born and
wow,
raised. So with that, I had to be strong in a sense, like, you know what? If I'm going to get that no, then I'm going to turn that into a yes. I don't know how yet, but I'm going to keep working towards it,
yeah,
right? And then I
yeah,
think my mother, it's funny, as my mother was a trainer. And so she was one that I always
wow,
looked at when it came to being able to facilitate and teach people. And she would come and talk. And there'd be times I get on the phone with her, and I would practice and role play back and forth. And she would say,
that's
no,
awesome.
you need to do this when it comes to closing the deal. She used to work for American Express. So with that, it's funny how sometimes we fall in the same path of what our parents have done in different
Yeah,
ways. But at the end of the day, they have taught me a lot to why I am who I am as of right now.
Yeah.
So
We
I
aspire.
always
Yeah.
very much
Yeah.
inspiring, I say.
What about your mentors? Who like, do you have any like, because the I feel like the mentors that I grew up with were just naturally, I gravitated towards them. They like, I started asking them questions. I didn't ever ask, would you be my mentor? But I just had this top 10 list of people that I would call whenever I had a question or I needed advice or I wasn't sure about something. And every category had a different person. What about you?
Yeah, I didn't have mentors growing up as much as I had them within my career time frame. Like when I started within multifamily, I had a lot of them that I looked to where I did the exact same thing. I reached out and just said, "Oh, you're my mentor." They probably did not sign up for that, not knowing that they signed up for it, but I
Yeah.
labeled them as my mentor or my coach. But I admired the work ethic and what they were doing and their goals they were setting and how they were navigating through that. It was something that I wanted to attach myself to learn. And I think that's most important is if you're growing in your career path or you're developing into another stage, or if you're wanting to become that leader and you see someone that you aspire that's doing it very well in your
Yeah.
industry, go and give
Yeah.
them a call, go in there and send an email or just ask. I'm pretty sure they're going to help you be able to come that way or be open to it, right? And I think
Yeah.
mentorship, especially with women mentorships, it helps us when it comes to navigating to that next step, even in
Yeah.
our goals of becoming leaders and that empowering, that, oh gosh, that's where the empowerment side comes in, right?
Yeah. Leaning. Yeah. Like Sheryl Sandberg, I think that's her last name correctly. Her book Lean In. She talks about how women as leaders, we don't always lean in. We don't always sit up at the table. We let someone else sit in front of us instead of leaning in and sitting at the table and then also leaning in to whatever it is the conversation is. So leaning into finding mentors is key. Or asking someone, even if you can ask their advice, you can straight up just ask them, to be your mentor. There's nothing wrong with that. Like it's definitely more common now than I think when we were first starting out.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I feel like mentors can really help you think outside of the box because, again, another piece of advice I always say with leaders, we don't know everything, right? But I think your mentors help mold that, right? And then you have your coaches that pushes you, okay?
Yeah.
They see things in you that you may not see, and they kind of challenge that in any areas. And that mentor is that person that's like that cheerleader that's going to help guide you through that, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm going to be that support. I'm going to be your cheerleader, and I'm going to show you, kind of give you those thought-provoking things to kind of think about and go home and be like, oh my gosh. And then you have those coaches that are going to be, I'm here to help you grow. What are we going to do and how we're going to get there? And I think it's so important as, individuals, but also as women that we find those people to help us be able to get to our next level.
Yeah.
If you're not attaching yourself to them, man, I hope our leaders, and especially our women leaders out there, that you're attaching yourself to people that can be able to help someone else, because there's someone out there that's looking to be in a next level where they're at. I had someone not too long ago reach out to me and was like, hey, Lacey, I seen you like train and facilitate and doing what you're doing. How can I get to that next level? What are the steps that I can do? And it's so honoring and so humbling when you have someone that comes back and asks you that, because now it's our turn to give back, right?
Yeah.
And help them mold the way to where they can
someone
be
else up.
Yes, it's a future generation of leaders, and I'm all for it, but also empowering that other woman to be able to say, hey, you know what? You can do it. You have it in you. Let me show you how you can do that, right?
Yeah.
And and I'm not saying it's always easy. No.
It's always if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. But
oh my gosh, right?
How do you stay motivated?
Oh my gosh, I have I have two valuable nuggets. If you guys ever pay attention or watch my daily inspirations, I always say daily nuggets, right? And it's really about making sure that you know that you have an importance of knowing what your vision is, right? Have a clear vision of what you want to accomplish, what you want to achieve, whether
Yeah.
that's a day, a week, a month, right? And when you have that clear vision, what happens is it becomes so powerful, because then what happens is you're rooted into that to keep focus every single day. And so I always think, have a clear vision of what you want. What is it that you want to aim for? What is it that you want to aspire? And it can be in your personal or work life, right?
Yeah.
It's the balance of it and how you want to make a difference and change. But I also say that with me, that keeps me motivated on top of having a clear vision, is understanding that life is going to be full of setbacks and challenges. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Inevitable. It's going to happen. And when you're going through that, it's important to also realize the root of your why, again, of what you're
Yeah.
doing, and also the experiences that you're going through. It's only going to make you better, and you're going to grow. And when
Yeah.
you learn from that, you become stronger. And at the end of the day, that it makes you to where you're saying, you know what? It's the bigger purpose. It's the
Yeah.
bigger impact. It's no
Yeah.
longer the day in and day in out work, because you know what's going to happen down the line. I hope
Yeah.
that, like, if that makes sense in that
Yeah.
realm of that. That's
Absolutely. You have to learn that, so that you have to learn that those no's, that all those no's are equaling up to a yes. And
yes.
if you don't have a clear vision of what your why is, you're gonna stumble. You're not gonna be stable, especially when you get the rejection, because rejection's hard, right?
Oh my gosh.
like I like I tell people all the time, when I started CTM, we went from we had a 3-year sales cycle, 3 years. It from the time I closed the client to when we had like a slew of clients, it went down from 3 years to 6 months. Because we were having to educate people about what video
Mhm.
meant and what they did. But if I had been clear on what my why was, I would have been eaten up, because we got lots of rejection, lots of no's. But it's
Mhm.
those no's eventually turned into yeses once I got them educated, and because I knew what my why was.
Yeah, I think it's so important to realize. I think, if you're one of those ones that are so working on that path, so goal oriented, so steadfast, and when you receive those no's, it can kind of really, it can just, discourage you a little bit, right? But at the
Yeah.
sense that, the kind of piggyback off what you said is, always know those no's are always setting you up for something bigger.
Yeah.
We may not know what those no's are setting us up for, but they are going to set you up for something that's bigger than that big yes, that you're going to turn around and be like, whoa, I went through all of
Yeah.
that, and then this is what it is. And it's easier said than done unless you're walking that path. And trust me, walking that path. And even when I set foot on this new journey of mine, as a speaker and really building out that, you learn that you have to learn that tough skin a little bit, but at the same time understanding that certain things are just not meant for you and certain things are very meant for you. And when the
Yeah.
timing comes, it will happen. And I think that goes in life in general. And I think within my career path, that was something I learned at a very young, early on within it. But I also learned that, when you have those setbacks and you're building the success you want, or building the business you want, or trying to get promoted or go to the next step in your career, that just because you get that one no, don't stop.
Yeah.
Never give up, because it may take you 15 no's before you get to that 16th yes, or it may
Yeah.
take a million, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How's that been like within your career path and experiencing that
I
with the
have with the notes. I always put in well, one, I'm gonna a friend of mine's grandmother or aunt, I can't remember which, but I give shout out to Shane for this. But
love the shout outs.
rejection, yeah, rejection is protection. So I
Yeah.
just recently started saying that to myself. When I get rejected, it means because what's for you is for you, and it's coming for you. So you anything that's for you, you're not gonna, doesn't matter. I don't know what the scripture is, but there's a scripture in there somewhere, which I'm not the person, but I do know that a lot of people say what's for you is for you, because that is in that what's for you is for you. So I recently, just in my own mindset to get over rejection, just tell that to myself, because
Yeah.
I get, because 100 no's can be quite disappointing, but
Mhm.
it's getting back up to get that yes. So that's the way
Yeah.
I look at it. I just have to know that that wasn't for me, that it was that God's rejection is protection, and that what's for me is coming. And it's just something just recently started, really focusing on, because you can get worn down and not be able to get over rejection. How do you get over rejection?
Breathe.
There you go.
Breathe and push forward and smile. No, I think it takes a lot of really realizing that just because you get that no doesn't mean that you're not worthy of what you want to do and what you have accomplished in your life cycle of your career journey. Or it also just, for me, is just sitting back and reflecting and thinking, okay, yes, I may have received that, but you know what? There's something else out there that I know that's planned, and I am willing to wait for that, but I won't stop. And I think if we all have that mindset of just not stopping and continuously moving forward, and whatever your goal is, then that's what you're going to accomplish. And, and at the end of the day, you have to be open to understand that there's going to be challenges. That's just, and setbacks, like I stated earlier, it's not easy, because if it was easy, like you said, we all would be doing it, right? Yeah. We all would be running our businesses and putting ourselves out there and branding ourselves. And, and some days you're like, I don't want to do it, but some days you're like, I got to do it. So, and putting on that smile. But I think one thing I love about it, and it kind of goes back into our, our how do we get here and being with women and leadership, is the support of women, right? I think that's so important, but I think it's just that group that you have that's going to always be there to help get you to that next level. That's going to help share those experiences. And if we're open to share our experiences and be transparent, we could be motivating and inspiring someone else down the line that says, you know what, I may not be where I want to be today, but I know I'm going to get there tomorrow. And that's the main goal. And that's the focus. That's that clear vision that we all should be focused on.
And staying focused on that vision, on what your why is. But you said sharing with other people, like that, like there's a group of people that when I get rejected, I have conversations with them with, why do you think, what's your opinion on this, what this, that, and it's not people that I know are going to always tell me that I'm awesome and great, but it's the right people that say to me when I'm in that headspace that I am down on myself, and that I'm teetered towards the negative wormhole instead of the positive, spiral up, I'll call it. But leaning on those friends that can lift you up is a key, right? Not just mentors, but leaning on friends that are positive and that their moods can brighten your mood by just talking to them, by just talking it out and release the universe. It definitely is super helpful.
I agree with you. I think that was one of my key takeaways, is making sure you surround yourself with a group of people that is going to root for you, cheer for you, and help you and encourage you, because the times that you cannot, those are going to be that founding group that's going to sit there and be there for you. What I would call the pit crew of, of your career and your circle. But
I call it the tribe. I like to call it the tribe.
The tribe and the pit crew. Right? I love it. It's so,
you got to find your own pit crew. You got to find your own tribe.
And if your pit crew ain't there for you doing that, then we need to start thinking about a new person to fill in, right?
Yeah.
I was kidding.
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, but that's what it is. I think you need a whole group of that. And I have found that, having, that my pit crew of people has really helped me get through a lot when it comes to the challenges and the setbacks and all of that when I started in this industry and going through my ups and downs and then getting to where I'm at today. And I couldn't be more grateful. That's why I still love what I do and still love this industry, because I think it's so much that is out there that is so great to grow and learn from. So
yeah. You definitely, you have surrounded yourself. Everybody should surround themselves with that tribe or that pit crew, because you don't want to be one person, because it is a lot as your journey, to always, I like to say, vomit, word vomit on somebody. You don't want to be doing that to the same person all the time, because it can be daunting, right? You might get lucky and have someone who is just that giving, that's always going to listen, but 9 times out of 10, you need to break it up a little bit so that way you're not totally running off one of a really right or somebody in your life that you want to be there, that you don't want to go away. So that I found that having, maybe 10 people, like, I shouldn't say hand, but 10 people that you can go to for different things and get, not always you're right, but just the true perspective, and a conversation around whatever it is that's bothering you.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I think even in our journey of learning one another, I think that's it. I think we've been able to back and forth. And I think that's so great when you can have those conversations and you're learning that. But each and every one is here to help and support for you to grow, however that is. Within your success. And I think if you always keep your eyes, like I said, back on the clear vision and not so much on the bigger picture and the impact, you'll make strides one day at a time, but give yourself some slack too.
Yeah, but leaning on and writing them out, like you taught me to create a professional vision board, because I've always done vision boards that were for my personal realm, and they were more arts and crafty, if you will. The one that you and I did at the beginning of the year was great because it was spiritual, financial, career, work wise, family, and relationship, and being able to list what my goals were for each is my true vision for why is why I do get up every day. And it's right in front of me, and I'm pointing to this wall because it's right in front of me on this over here, not back there, and I can see it. I can look up every day, and when things are bad, right, especially more so when things are bad, that I can look up there and realize what I'm doing.
No, I love that. And I think it's so important. It's a friendly reminder, right?
Yeah.
And so every year do something new and different and make those, your focus points. And that goes back into that clear vision, and it helps you and it reminds you, and then you don't lose sight of why you're doing what you're doing. And it keeps you motivated. And so that's something that I try to aim. And if I can help someone else in that, that's, it brings me joy. So at the end of the day.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap up. I have to ask this one question. What advice would you give to your younger self?
A lot of advice. Maybe stay away from. No, just kidding. Oh my gosh, yes. I would definitely tell my younger self that no matter what, to always continue to move forward. Don't ever give up on your dreams. You can accomplish anything that you set your mind and heart to, and always know you're capable, and don't let anyone tell you differently.
Yeah. And be patient. Like you said earlier, be
patient. I know it's kind of crazy to say be patient as a child, because, as a child, we're always over the place.
Yeah.
It's something that's going to help you down the line when it comes to timing.
Yeah. You don't realize how much more time you still have. There was Josh Nichols put out on LinkedIn the other day, and it stated, stay on your own timeline, keep moving forward. Showed 10 companies that were started by founders late in life. Like these founders were 40, 41, 52, 53, 60. KFC founder started, in 62, right?
Like that. 62. I'm so far from that. Let's do it.
I'm 50, but I still have another, I still feel like I have another 50 years. So I have plenty of time. I don't feel like I'm in a rush. So I can be patient. I can down and smell the roses, slow down and ask for the whys and the whats, and get more information that will keep me on the right path, right?
Yeah, 100%. Remember, it's your journey, right? It's your vision and it's your success.
Yeah.
Not fast.
So I'm gonna up here you want to tell people how they can connect with you?
You can reach me on my LinkedIn, right? Lacey Daniels. Also, I'm on Instagram at Lacey Daniels, TikTok at Lacey Daniels. If you see a common thread here, it's all at Lacey Daniels. You can find me, and I definitely would love. Or you can reach me through my email or website, and I would love to conversate and chat with you.
And I'm going to throw in a shameless plug. If you'd like to be a guest, just email me at Kimberly at Marketing Doer. You can go to this link. There are some free, but you can connect with me however you want at that Kimberly here at this link. And if you watch us, that, oh, that is a scrolling. Ooh, I forgot about that. See, I learned something new. Forgot about. Is it this one? Yeah. So if you watch us on the replay, you make sure you can replay and where you watch this from, or you can go to Google. If you go to Google and just search, this is what that says. Search that Kimberly or Industry Live. You'll see all the videos and where you can watch us from. So just a little hint and help on all that. But we appreciate you for joining us. If you have any questions, please make sure you tag in the comments. And until next Tuesday, remember, sharing is caring. What, got anything to say, Lacey?
Nope. Have an amazing day.
Yes. Have a great one. Take care.